everyone, it's me, Holly, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the book Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This book is a spin-off of an Alice in Wonderland tale. Marissa Meyer is known for these with her Lunar Chronicle books, which I loved. I loved that series. This one is her newest and latest book release. Overall, it wasn't my favorite. And I went into it thinking, Alice in Wonderland, I really don't know if I'm gonna like that because it wasn't my favorite movie of all time. A bizarre world, a bizarre storyline. I didn't know if I would like to read a story about that, but I thought maybe she just worked her magic and made an amazing story from it. It's about this girl named Catherine. The king wants to marry her. Instead, she has her heart kind of set on someone else. So that's the general idea of the book. Overall, not my favorite book, but there were parts that I liked and definitely parts that frustrated me so much. Before I get anywhere into it, if you enjoyed her Lunar Chronicles and if you enjoyed Alice in Wonderland, this might be a book you want to go into and read. Come back, rewatch this video, and see if you agree with some of my points or not. But I'm going to say bye to all the people who have not read the book. Go away. Bye. Bye. Okay, so this book was frustrating. At first, when I heard the story about her and the king wants to be with her, but she doesn't want the king, I'm like, how can that be? How could you not want the king? But then when you see the king and he's the short man, and he's like this little lost puppy who just wants her love, and he's just like in this happy-go-lucky realm. He's kind of humorous in that way. You really get annoyed by him. So Catherine Pinkerton doesn't want to marry him. Just comes into her life, and he's this joker. He's so mysterious, handsome, so perfect. I loved him. I don't know why he really liked Catherine, because Catherine was so frustrating. Maybe I'm just picturing her in a wrong way. Like, I normally want to read about a character and feel like she's a good person and she has these good motives and tries to do her best. Like, oh, she seems a little snooty and bratty at times. I tried to sympathize with her, and I did, but then it just kept coming up in different pieces of the book. Like when Peter meets her and he's just like, oh, she's too good for us. And that was his opinion. So I was like, oh, well, whatever. That's his opinion of her. Hada didn't like her. And then she has a friend who she doesn't like and who also doesn't like her. So it just seemed like no one really liked her except for the king and Jest. She had like this clear motive. Like from the start of the book, you know she wants to bake. The desire is really strong. I believe that she has this strong desire to want to bake. And she goes about doing those things to get towards those goals, except for telling her parents forever. You know her motive, you know her desire, and yet when things go where she could talk to the king and the king wants to court her and marry her, she doesn't stop him. She tried to stall him, but she doesn't like say anything forever, and it's so frustrating because then she goes back to being like, but I really want to be a baker, and then she goes to being a lady and is just like all proper and listening to everyone, and her desire of pleasing her parents is apparently stronger than her desire to open this bakery. But I didn't feel that from her. I actually felt like she didn't really like her mom, and yet she wanted to please her so much. Like, I needed more of that to feel like that was why she wasn't really committed to going that extra effort of telling her parents. Jest and her have this really wonderful connection. That was like my favorite part of the book by far. But that was like basically all I really liked. So many points where you're like, Catherine, you're such an idiot. The Jabberwocky, right? The Jabberwocky's around. She was not at the ball when the first Jabberwocky was there. She goes to Hada's tea party. The Jabberwocky appears again. And then she decides to steal a pumpkin from Peter. She sees a huge pumpkin with like a window in it. Kind of obvious that someone was in there, and it was like a cage. His wife was obsessed with pumpkins, and there were pumpkins that were smashed. It seemed really obvious and clear that Lady Peter was the Jabberwocky. And then when she makes the pumpkin dessert, the turtle gets turned into a mock turtle. Hello, it was so obvious that it was your dessert, but instead she's like, it was Hada's hats. It was his hat. It must be him. I think what bothered me was that she didn't dive deeper into the fact that it could have been her. She didn't take any action into this possible idea that it was her fault. Then the Jabberwocky comes again, and when she said, cut off his head, that's when I realized that this must be the future Queen of Hearts. Things started to connect. No wonder I don't like this character. Now it's starting to make sense. Now I'm kind of okay with the fact that I don't love this character, and I just want to see how this plays out. And it was kind of a fun story at that point. When Hadda and Jest and Catherine decide to go out, go to his land, and go to the other end of the wall, touch it so she could become queen so that he could be with her. Ooh. This is getting good, and I had to review through the Alice in Wonderland tales, and that's really what the whole second book is about. Once I got to this point of the book where I got used to the land, I thought she did a really good job connecting these stories and ideas into this world and into the story. It was this idea of going to chess and going to the other end of the wall, which is exactly what Alice in Wonderland did through The Looking Glass, the second book of Lewis Carroll's tale. In my mind, I'm thinking, ooh, this is gonna be such a fun, adventurous story to go through. There's a fourth of the book left. I feel like we're really getting into this awesome idea, and yet, how is this gonna happen in 100 pages? That's because it doesn't happen. She is an idiot. She's been told, don't go through a door. Don't go through a door, because Just will die and you will be the queen. She goes through a door. Just don't come after me. Duh. He's gonna come after you. He loves you. Why did you even look? You shouldn't have even looked. At that point, I'm like, well, I know Just is gonna die because she is gonna become Queen of Hearts. That's obvious. We know that at that point. I wasn't like super sad when Just finally died. It was very clear that he was going to die. And then she really starts to become evil. She does not care at all. He's gone and I'm gone. And then she just becomes the Queen of Hearts. That was a fun telling of this villain, but it's hard to get through at the start when you don't realize that. You have to work your way through the book. It was a fun, interesting tale of the Queen of Hearts. Was I expecting that? No way! So it was very different to go into the book, not thinking that, and then getting through it. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. I liked it, didn't love it, didn't love the main character, and that makes it hard to love a book. It was definitely a fun retelling of the Queen of Hearts and her story of becoming a villain. I hope you guys enjoyed this book review, and thank you for watching. That's all for today. Bye!